And welcome into BoardCheck. I am your host, Jeremy the Impet York. We are rocking the Reservoir Dogs look today. I look good in pink. I try. Today we're going to have a very special treat because not only are each segment or period of this game going to involve just, the first period. I'm going to talk about the first period of game one, the second, the third. But we also have a guest joining us in overtime. First time we've had overtime in a while, maybe ever. But joining us in overtime will be a very good friend of the show, hockey fanatic, and just overall good dude. He is from the Movie Dudes. He, of course, is Tory Fossett. He'll be joining us later on in overtime. But for now, I'm going to do exactly what I just said I'm going to do. I'm going to start with period number one because we're in period number one. Period number one from game number one. The Penguins with the home ice advantage against the Nashville Predators. So far, things that I thought were really cool. Fisher was back in the lineup. It was good to see my captain. Nope, not Derek Nesbitt. In this case, we were talking about the captain of the Nashville Predators. That was Mike Fisher. Carrie Underwood's other half, back in the lineup. It was even. It was back and forth early. Subban had a fantastic goal that was called off because of an offsides that set up the whole thing. I went back and looked at it about 100 times after it was off TV, and it was the right call. I'm not just doing that to agree with him. It was absolutely the right call. It was offsides, not by much, but it was. And unfortunately, that would actually factor. Nashville really had the momentum early. Then Pittsburgh took it back about halfway through the first. Pittsburgh had a 5-on-3 advantage. Malkin ends up scoring on a slap shot that trickled in. It was one of those, it was like hit you and then just kind of filtered on in. And, Pika could only do so much. But that was with about 4.5 left in the first, and that was a power play goal, I believe. It was part of that 5-on-3. I think it was 5-on-4, actually, that did it. Either way. No, it was right before the 5-on-3 ended. Sheary made it 2-0 about a minute later. Bonino had a kind of one-handed as he's falling forward, kind of does this number, and he one-hands one that ends up deflecting off a defenseman and going in. 3-0 with about 10 seconds left in the first. So for everybody scoring at home, in about 4 minutes and 28 seconds, Pittsburgh scored 3 goals. Now, a lot of people would think, how do you come back from something like that? You guys, for all you got, look at all the notes I take. It's not, you can't even, that's the kind of notes that I take for these games. But overall, I didn't think Nashville was out of it at this point. Pittsburgh was really putting on the press hard. Crosby, by far, I used to think Ovechkin was ahead of him. I think at this point, they're dead even. They're both the best players in the world, on the planet, by far. Malkin's got to be top 5, just the way he's playing, and that's just incredible to have 2 top 5 players on your team like that. But the unsung heroes, the Guntels and the Kunitz, who had the game winner in Game 7 that sent the Penguins here, those kind of guys. You look at Nashville, some of the players they have, we'll get into some of those in a minute. This is going to be a series, folks. I still think it's going to go 6. It could easily go 7, but it's definitely going to help hockey. It's going to help get more people involved because these two teams are fantastic, and they have incredible fan bases, and the fact that they're not far from each other may make them rivals, for everything going forward. But it's going to do it for period number 1 and also period number 1 here on the show. When we come back, we're going to talk about period number 2 on period number 2 right here on BoardCheck. We'll see you in a minute. And we're back for period number 2 as we talk about period number 2 from game number 1 between the Penguins and the Nashville Predators. Like I said, up to this point, it is 3-0, as in the last 4.5 minutes, Pittsburgh has put 3 goals on the board. That was Malkin, Bonino, and unfortunately I forgot the other guy, but 3 on the board. It's okay. Don't panic. Nashville, you're still in this. For period number 2, it seemed like early on, the Predators were on their heels. They were kind of shell-shocked by the 3 goals that were scored seemingly out of nowhere. The best thing to do in that scenario is somewhere early in the second, you need to bury one in the back of the net. Well, about almost 3.5 minutes into it, a Predator fan throws a deceased catfish on the ice. You know, that seems to be their new tradition. Apparently, he smuggled it in through his pants. Is that a catfish or a... Yeah, it's a catfish. Now, he was ejected from the game, and there is now a ban. You have to show your ID to buy catfish in the greater Pittsburgh area, and don't expect to get one if you have a Tennessee license. But this seemed to kind of spark the team a little bit, so maybe it was worth it. Pittsburgh had a penalty a few minutes after this. Nashville at this point were still getting slightly outplayed. Felt like they could play a little harder than they were, but, you know, it is what it is. They were able to kill that off. There was another penalty by Pittsburgh, and Ellis was able to slap one in to make it 3-1. This was with about 13 minutes to go in the second. The power play goal, and just a fantastic slap shot. Nashville defense was blocking more shots, about 3-1 over what Pittsburgh was doing. It wasn't just 3 shots in one shot. It was like 10-3 or something at this point, as far as the block shots. Predators were getting chances; they were just not converting. It happens. Sometimes you run up on a bulldog of a goalie, which is exactly what Matt Murray was doing. At one point, he lost his stick, and the Predators still couldn't take advantage. Pittsburgh had no shots on goal in the entire second period. Let me say it again. The Pittsburgh Penguins had no registered shot on goal for the entire second period. Is that not crazy? That's the first time ever in their entire playoff history. First time ever. So, to kind of recap the second. Like I said, they needed something to spark them. Apparently, a fan throwing a catfish on the ice kind of got them going a little bit. They were able to pick up their play. They were able to get a few penalties to swing their direction, and Nashville was able to put one on the board. It's 3-1 as we get towards the end of the second period. And that's going to do it in for the second period here. For us, when we come back in the third period, we will talk about the game, how the game finished. And then remember, we have overtime where our special guest, Tory Fossett, will be joining us. He's a Blackhawks fan. That'll be a lot of fun right here on BoardCheck. We'll see you in a few minutes. It's period number 3 right here on BoardCheck. And of course, what are we going to talk about? Period number 3 in game number 1 between the Penguins and the Predators. Now, this one was very much more action-oriented, high-intensity, seriously action-packed. Crosby and a defender, I did not see who it was exactly, Crosby was on a break, and he had 2 choices really. He could bail out and slam them all into the boards, or he could kind of duck, and him and the defender kind of rode into Picarine, who jumped a little bit. Nobody was hurt on it. It was the absolute right play. And in fact, 2 different Predator players reached a hand out to help Crosby up. It was the absolute right play. That's part of why he's still, why you got to consider him one of the best in the league, because he didn't mean to do anything. He wasn't trying to slide into anybody. It was not intentional. Nobody got hurt. Everybody was fine. They did knock the net off and everything on the breakaway, but, like I say, no harm, no foul. And the Nashville defender tried to help him up, which I believe he took his hand. So, Then, a couple minutes later, let's see, about about 10:24 left, so about halfway through. Evgeny Malkin gets called for a slash. It was an absolute right call on that. Sometimes Malkin can get a little too invested. And I think that's what he did there. I think he got a little hyped up, and when play didn't go his way, he ended up slashing the guy. That happens. Still at this point, Pittsburgh still had not had a shot on goal since that goal by Bonino with about 10 seconds left. Then they get a then there's a power play goal, which makes it 3-2 with about 10 minutes to go by Yossi from the Predators. PK Subban ends up getting a penalty with about 8 minutes to go in the game there. They're only within one, remember. They kill the penalty, then Goudreau scores to make it 3-3, and we've got a game. We've got a Donnybrook. We've got a fantastic game with about 6.5 to go. Now, at this point, Nashville was outworking the Penguins, and it felt like the Penguins were kind of on their heels a little bit, but remember, most of them are veterans. Most of them have at least some playoff experience, if not winning a couple cups, including last year. So what do? Gensel scores a goal on a short break to make it 4-3 with about 3 minutes to go. That was the first shot by Pittsburgh in 37-plus minutes, and yet they were still in this game. So going up 3-0 definitely helped them. They're up 4-3 at this point, and then Bonino puts in his second of the game on an empty netter with about a minute to go, and that was your ball game. Overall score 5-3. Pittsburgh wins game number 1. Game number 2 is actually tonight at 8 o'clock. I believe it is on NBC Sports Network here locally. You can check your local listings and NHL.com for everything past that. Like I said, it's game number 2. That's in Pittsburgh. And, shout out that Big Ben was in the house. Oddly enough, for both for Game 7 and Game 1 here. He seemed to have a better seat this time. Last time his seat was like right above the tunnel where the players go in and out. That's a pretty decent seat, but he's Big Ben Roethlisberger. I don't understand why he can't get glass seats or in a box. But, sorry, Big Ben. I tell you what, you come to a Gladiators game, you can sit down low because I will make sure you have a seat down there. You can sit down low with me, and we'll have a good time. But 5-3 makes it 1-0 Pittsburgh so far. The game in Pittsburgh tonight, as I said, 8 p.m. Eastern start. It's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a fantastic game. That's going to do it for period number 3. But when we come back, it's going to be overtime here on BoardCheck as we talk to a fantastic lover of life and his Chicago Blackhawks, Tory Fossett. It's going to be fun. We'll be right back. And we're back here on BoardCheck for a special edition overtime. We don't do overtime very often, but trust me, you're going to want to listen to this one. We've got not only a great friend of mine, great friend of the show, but a super hockey dude and super movie dude, and we'll get into that here in a second. He is Tory Fossett. How are you doing, Tory?
Oh, yeah. Welcome to BoardCheck.
Hey, what's up, dude?
Yeah.
I might start using that soundbite now.
I'm stoked to be on, man. I am super stoked to be on BoardCheck. I love listening to this show, so it's awesome.
I appreciate that, and so does a lot of other people. I said it beforehand, and I say it a lot of other times. This is an appearance that is probably about a season and a half overdue because we've actually known each other since season 1 of BoardCheck, which was quite a handful of years ago when you helped run the Ice Forum in Kennesaw, right?
Yes. I've been working there for a couple of years, and I remember you filming and like doing sort of like your podcast for BoardCheck after the KSU games, and that was really sick. But yeah, man, I mean, I've been working there, and it's the best job I've ever had, so it's cool. I get paid to watch hockey, so it's sick.
and to mess with teenagers and show them what good music is.
Of course, dude. I mean, my motto is I'll play it as long as it's clean and not Justin Bieber. I mean, that's my motto. and it's world famous. I mean, people from Australia and Germany and Switzerland, they all know that motto, and it's what I live by, man. I mean, I'm not gonna play trash when I DJ, and I'll DJ public sessions and hockey games, and I'll play the classic rock for the hockey players, the older guys that play adult league, and they love it, man. They love hearing AC/DC and Metallica, and they love hearing that stuff. So it's cool.
Definitely so. Now, we'll agree to disagree slightly on Beebs, just because there's a couple songs I kind of like, but it's just because kind of music background. I DJ'd a little bit in high school, so anything with a good beat, and he has a couple things, but yeah, the rest of it's garbage.
You guys have a good night. I'm out of here. No, I'm just joking. No, it's cool. Hey man, it's totally cool, dude. I mean, if that's your taste, go for it. I mean, I'll jam out to some One Direction sometimes, man. I mean, it's cool.
Yeah, you know what? Those dudes know what they're doing too. They're racing.
Oh, dude, I play them all the time when I DJ. When people request Justin Bieber, I'll just be like, look, I don't play that. But if they request One Direction, I'll play One Direction. I really don't have a problem with them.
Right.
But yeah, dude, I mean, I play clean music, you know what I mean? And just want to speak life over these kids, man. So it's cool.
Absolutely, and that is something I wanted to get into before we get into hockey. Is we have a very similar view on life, and you're obviously more straight edge lifestyle than I am, because a little bit of drinking in the past there and such. Everything in moderation is kind of my overall motto. But
yeah,
you seem to view life, like I said, the same way I do, as far as always looking for the positive, always trying to get the most out of it, and you could probably describe it better than I can, but kind of what helps shape your view of everything?
Well, the way I see it, dude, is life's too short to live in hate, man. We've got to live every second like it's our last, and got to live it to the fullest, man. I mean, just, Jesus has blessed us with this beautiful life, and just living wild for him, dude. I used to drink back in the past. I don't drink anymore, and I just want to enjoy life and just love people. You know what I mean? Just love people and just live every second to the extreme, man. I'm like an adrenaline junkie, so I'll do anything that gets the heart pumping, you know what I mean? So I'll skydive and bungee jump, whitewater rafting, all that. I just want to get outside, and God's beautiful creation and enjoy life. And I don't want anything, really that will come against that and destroy that, kind of like, drugs and stuff like that. I believe you can live life and have fun and just live your life without drugs and all that. You know what I mean? Just clean and sober. So it's really cool, dude. I mean, more kids need to hear that, and I feel like they're influenced a lot of times in the wrong way by people they look up to, including artists and stuff like that. And I feel like we can definitely be a good influence on kids these days, and we can really make a difference, dude, like in the future and now. Just kids everywhere, you know what I mean? Just loving and spreading love, spreading peace, and just living for the Lord, man. It's really rad. And yeah, dude, I mean, the best is ahead, man. It's really cool. So
yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree. That's why anytime I'm around my nieces or nephews, I'm trying to be the good role model, because I know Charles Barkley said it a couple years ago. He's actually retracted it since, but he said that athletes aren't role models and celebrities aren't role models, but we're all role models. Whether you know it or not, there's somebody watching you at all times, and I'm not just talking about Big Brother. That's a whole different podcast. But there's always somebody looking to say, I want to do what they're doing, or I don't want to do what they're doing. So you always have to be mindful of the choices you make.
Yeah, dude, that's 100% totally true, man. I mean, there are people watching you, man. I speak at high schools. I just spoke at Paulding County High School not that long ago, and I love speaking at high schools at FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, because not all of these kids are athletes. I mean, there are kids that are in band that are there, and also kids from the football team and stuff like that. But they're there early in the morning, man. I mean, they're there before school starts, and I'll bring them donuts and and Cokes, healthy food, and I'll bring them all that stuff, and and they just love me being there and speaking and being real with them, and But yeah, like what you said, it's totally true, man. I mean, people are watching you, your relatives, your friends. I mean, they're watching what you do, you know, and we have to set a good example for the future. You know what I mean? And because
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, if kids get influenced the wrong way, it can really lead them down a path that's not good, you know. But if we can influence kids in a good way, in a positive way, you know, and in a loving way, they can definitely soar because we were all born to fly. We were born to be free, you know, all of us. And we can definitely make that happen for kids all over the world. So they definitely need good role models in 2017.
Absolutely. And after this podcast, we'll maybe hooking up Tory with his own podcast because I think we're all going to learn something tonight.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, thanks, man.
But I think that's part of how we kind of crossed paths. It wasn't just we were in the same location at the in the ice farm at the same time. But I always tell people that usually good people can catch the vibe off other good people and just know hey, there's something going on with that guy there or that girl there, and I want to know what it is. And you're definitely one of those people. Now I know you're a big fan of punk rock, right?
Yeah, dude. Been listening to it since I was a kid. You know, more of like the punk and pop punk type. Like, you know, like I'll listen to a lot of punk, and I'll also listen to a lot of like pop punk, like Blink-182, New Found Glory, and stuff like that. But I go to a lot of shows, high energy, violent at times. You know, and I've had a concussion. Oh yeah, of course, yeah. But we're supposed to go into these places and spread love, you know, and that's what I do. You know, I build relationships and I just spread the love all over the place. Like I said, this life's too short and it's too beautiful to live in hate. You know, we're not supposed to, you know, we're supposed to spread the love and everything, you know. So I love going to these shows. Like, not only do I like the music and everything, but I love just going crazy and stage diving and crowd surfing and getting in the mosh pits. But also you meet so many cool people at these shows, and it's just rad, man. I just love going to the shows, man. Like, it's just cool. It gets in your blood, and you just want to go to more shows. So it's really cool.
Oh yeah, we definitely share a taste in good music as far as that, and that's some of the most fun I've ever had with some of the punk shows and punk people I've seen, like NFG and some of those guys. I've never have seen Blink or anybody yet, but they're on my list. But it just always seems like there's so much fun energy at a punk show. That's why I was at a music festival, and there was three different stages going on, and it was like the main stage, and they had some rock rap group. I can't remember. It wasn't one of the big ones. They were doing something. Then on the other side, they had kind of a heavy metal act, and I'm like, well, I kind of wanted to see them because I was a fan of theirs, but New Found Glory was just rocking the small stage so hard that I just went, I got to see what they're doing. There's just something cool going on over there, and I've been a fan of theirs ever since. Yeah,
dude. I've seen them 3 or 4 times, and I'm telling you, dude. I mean, they've been going hard like since the early 2000s, probably 2000. Yeah. I mean, I was like in middle school, dude, when they were like partying hard, and dude, I'm telling you, they have not lost a step, man. You go and see them now, and they have more energy than they used to. And they're older, but man, they are crazy live. I mean, they're insane. And yeah, dude, I mean, it's never disappointing to see them. I saw them at the old Masquerade that was in Atlanta, and now they moved. Now they're in a new Masquerade, which is definitely hard because everybody was so used to the old Masquerade. It was like it was home to so many people. But I am kind of glad that they moved to the new one because it's a lot nicer. And also the floor in heaven was very. I mean, when you would jump on it, it would shake. And it was only a matter of time before that floor caved in. And if that floor caved in and people got killed, they would shut that place down. It would never reopen. So I'm really glad, that they moved out and they're at a new place now. So that old Masquerade was like a dungeon. It was really cool to go to shows to, though.
Oh yeah, I saw a great handful of good shows there, and some bad ones too. And I definitely know what you mean. some of the pre-show bands would be down in the hell show there, and if you're down in hell and people in heaven are jumping around, I definitely know exactly what you're talking about. And
Oh,
that
yeah.
comes from my dad and a lot of other my dad, my great uncle, and my great grandfather all have a construction background. So there's a lot of times I walk in buildings and go, yeah, I'm not going to stand here. That doesn't look good structurally.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, totally. And these shows get violent, but overall, you want everybody to be safe. I mean, I've had guys fall on my face, man, and just blood,
Mm-hmm.
and I've accidentally punched guys in the face when I was in the mosh pit. I mean, I remember it was at the it was either at the Comeback Kids show or it was some show. It might have been Newfound Glory and Yellow Card, but there was a kid, like a guy in the pit, and I accidentally hit him right in the face, man. And I went to the bathroom. I didn't even know I hit him. And I went to the bathroom, and his nose was bleeding like crazy. And he came to me. He said, "Hey, bro, you punched me in the face." I was like, "Dude, I'm sorry." He's like, "It's cool." And he just walked out, dude. I mean, that's the show. I mean, stuff like that happens.
Wow.
I mean, people get hurt. But overall, we're like a big family. You know what I mean? I mean, if somebody falls down,
Oh, yeah.
we pick them up. A lot of times that happens. Smaller person or anybody, could fall. We would help them up. You know what I mean? And it does get
Right.
rowdy and rough, but it's like I said, it's like we're a big family, so it's cool.
Absolutely. And, of course, we're on with Tory Fossett, who we will get into some hockey, I promise. For everybody that tunes in, I always get the biggest hate mail from Talk Sports. Hey, we'll get to it, all right? We're talking about life, and that's sometimes better than sports. Just trust me.
Yeah, we're partying hard here on BoardCheck.
Oh, yeah.
It's cool.
That reminds me, I should call Andrew WK back. I was actually talking to him last summer. So I should do that. I should have him on.
Yeah, nice. Nice,
Nobody
man.
parties harder than Andrew WK. And if anybody has no idea what I'm talking about, just YouTube it. You'll figure it out.
Yeah,
But
that's right.
before we get into hockey, there was a couple other things I wanted to mention real quick. You are I guess a founding member, but you are a part of a group called the Movie Dudes. Tell a little bit about the Movie Dudes.
Well, the Movie Dudes are, I mean, those dudes rule, I mean, yeah, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what happened was we're a group that gives out movie reviews for movies, the hottest movies that are coming out this year. And every year we started in 2016 at the beginning of the year. And the reason we started in March, and the reason we started is because we were so sick of Rotten Tomatoes trash. Like, we're like, man, let's their trash reviews. We're just like, let's start a group. So we started a group, and it's 4 guys, and we just go and see movies, and we're all like best friends, and we party hard and eat a bunch of buttery popcorn, healthy food, and slushies and all that, and we just have a good time, man. Just good, clean fun, we meet a lot of, we build relationships with a lot of really cool people that work at these movie theaters, and they know that we're coming in, and we spend time with them and hang out and everything. But we take over a movie theater. I mean, we have a good time, and at the end of the movie, we just give an honest, real movie review after each movie, and sometimes we'll see double features and everything like this. Tomorrow night, we're going to go see Wonder Woman, which we're super stoked for. It's going to be one of the movies of the year, but we're super stoked about that. I think Rotten Tomatoes gave it like a 96%, which is a miracle,
Wow.
because normally they hate DC movies, which I love DC movies, me personally. I love them both. I love Marvel and DC. I love both movies.
Right.
And, man, I felt like for a while, Marvel was paying a Rotten Tomatoes off or something, because they were trashing all the DC movies, man, all of them, and then they would bow down and worship the Marvel movies. And I'm like, what's up with this? So we're just like, look, we're going to be real with you guys. Like, we liked it, we didn't like it, or, we just want to be real. So we're super stoked about Wonder Woman, and we just want to just give the lowdown. I mean, I've seen, I've had so many people come up to me, and they're like, we love watching it. People from all over the world, they're like, we love watching the reviews, and we've watched the review before we went to the movie theater. Did not like it, we didn't go. And if you guys liked it, we went.
Wow.
I was like, that's sick, But yeah, dude. I mean, we're just a bunch of punks that love movies, and we just love hanging out with each other and partying hard, and that's what we do, man. We just have good, clean fun, and It's really cool, man. Like no theater's safe when the movie dudes are there. It's really cool, man.
Wow, I'm gonna have to tune in and find out, because usually I don't get a chance to go to a lot of movies because of a lot of the games and other stuff going on. But this summer's going to open up a little bit here at Impact Media. So yeah, Wonder Woman's definitely something on our list, because I've recently gotten into Arrow and the Flash and all that. The TV shows. So I'm looking to see DC make a comeback, because I grew up more with DC than Marvel. So I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm super stoked, man. Like I said, I think that's going to be one of the movies of the year. It just looks phenomenal. She's a great actress, and just the graphics and everything look amazing. So I'm super stoked about it. You've got Spider-Man coming out soon. You've got a bunch of really good movies. Like, I'm really stoked for Dunkirk. Super stoked about that. Has Tom Hardy and actually has Harry Styles from One Direction in it, which is pretty crazy. But
oh wow,
I'm really stoked to see how he'll do. But yeah, man, like it's just cool. I love going to the movies, man. Like, I love going to the movies, and it'd be super sick to get paid to do this. But like, we're not doing it. We're not doing it to make money or anything. We're just doing it because we just love going to see movies, man. It's just fun.
That's awesome. And you guys have a Facebook page now. I saw earlier that people can find. They just search the Movie Dudes and they'll be able to find you?
Yeah. Just go on Facebook and go to the search and just type in the Movie Dudes, and we're going to pop up. And you can give us a like and just, and just send, if you want to send us a message, give your feedback, and we'd love to hear from you. It's just we're really cool dudes. We'd love to hear from you. So it'd be really awesome.
I just made sure, I just double-checked, and I had the producer do the same check as well, and you just search straight on there, and you guys pull straight up. So that's definitely how to find that.
Right on.
Now,
that's awesome.
For people still listening, waiting on Hockey Talk, I promise you there's one more thing, and this is really cool, and you're going to like it. So before we get to hockey, even though I know this answer, tell the story on meeting Larry the Cable Guy and how all that came about.
It was really cool, dude. So my dad went to college with Larry the Cable Guy. They were best friends in college. His real name is Danny Whitney. That's his real name. Larry the Cable Guy is like his stage name. So what happened was, back in like a long time ago, years ago, we were at our old house, and my dad was watching TV, and he was watching Larry the Cable Guy. And I think Larry the Cable Guy said something. I don't know what he said, but my dad's like, "Oh man, I know this guy. Like, I went to college with him." And, we didn't, like, he was freaking out, and we didn't believe him, So, years passed. He went to a college reunion. He went to a reunion with a bunch of guys that he went to college with, and they said, "Hey, Larry the Cable Guy's wanting to hear from you. Here's his number." So he actually gave my dad Danny Whitney's number. So my dad called him not that long ago, and he answered. Like, Larry the Cable Guy answered his phone, and he was like, "Danny?" And he was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Hey, this is Alan from college." And he started freaking out, and he said, "I'm about to go live on the Daytona 500." And I was like, "Yeah, that's no big deal, right?" He's about to go live at the Daytona 500, like, something small like that. But he said, "I'm going to be in Atlanta at the Fox Theater in a couple of weeks, and let me know how many tickets you need, and I'm going to get you those tickets to you guys." So he was like, "All right, awesome." So we called him, like, I think a week before he was supposed to be here. He got us like 4 tickets. We went down to the fabulous Fox Theater in Atlanta. Beautiful, gorgeous. So we went in there, and it was actually a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. It was huge. So at first we met him at the beginning of the show. That was really cool, and got to talk to him for a little bit, and he gave us VIP passes. And then we saw his whole show, and then after the show, we went backstage with him, and we were backstage with Larry the Cable Guy, man, just hanging out. Like, just talking, hanging out. But it was really cool, man. He is different than he is on stage, backstage. He's a different guy, because Larry the Cable Guy is stage character. He's a character, So when he's backstage, he's himself. He's Danny Whitney. And it was really cool seeing who he really was. Like I was telling you before, he still loves to fish and loves to hunt. He still loves to do all that stuff that he talks about, but he's just kind of a different person,
Right.
So, yeah, it was just really cool just hanging out with who he really is, like Danny Whitney. Like, it was really cool.
That is really awesome. And I actually, me and you know that I know your dad, but yeah, your dad's a fantastic dude, and I'm glad that not only he was able to reconnect, because the conversations I've had with your dad, he's brought him up a few times. He showed pictures. He's like, yeah, that's actually him in college and stuff. So it's always cool to see those life moments when you just look and go, that's really cool. How many people get to see your dad light up like that?
Yeah, dude. It was really cool, man. I mean, they haven't seen each other in, so long, since college. And I think it was the beginning of the 90s. I think it was like, and I think the last time he saw him at a comedy club in Atlanta, and I think it was like 89, 90 or something like that. So I think that's the last time he actually saw him live, in person. So it's been a long time, man. I mean, he even told us, he said, hey, if you guys ever want to go to a Nebraska football game, like, because he's actually from Nebraska. And he's from Nebraska, and his favorite team is the Nebraska Cornhuskers, And he said, if you ever want, this is crazy, he said, if you ever want to go see a Nebraska football game, let me know. Come out to my private suite in the Nebraska stadium, and I actually share it with the owner of the Chicago Cubs. And I was like, wow, that's no big deal. So basically, like, if we ever want to go, just let him know. And we can go to his suite. We can eat the food. We could probably go back and see his place. He's just a really humble, down-to-earth guy. I mean, just really, him and Jeff Foxworthy. Jeff Foxworthy was really nice. Really just a cool guy, So it was awesome.
I've always heard that about those two guys. It was genuinely nice. But I guess the follow-up would be, so when are we going to a Nebraska game, I guess would be the follow-up.
Let's go right now, dude. I mean, I don't think they're playing now. They're not playing right now.
That means the line will be short.
Yeah, right. But I mean, like, dude, there's no way I can miss the Stanley Cup tonight, though. There's no way.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
I've got to catch that game too.
Absolutely, which is why we're gonna, just so everybody knows when we're actually recording this, it's I think there's about a 20-minute countdown right now. They got to sing a few different really nice tunes and do some laser light shows, and then the Stanley Cup will be on. But let's look at the Stanley Cup.
Awesome.
I've pretty much got to see at least one period of almost every game, all but about 2 or 3 games, and most of those were the West Coast games, because there's just some days I can't stay up till 2 o'clock. It just, unfortunately, my day starts at 6 a.m. most of the time, so there's a good chance I'm not going to stay up till 2 o'clock a lot. But this Stanley Cup has been absolutely fantastic. Every game has been like a heavyweight fight of some kind, just young talent, old talent, good teams, new teams, everything. How have you been able to catch a lot of games, and then how do you kind of see the Stanley Cup shaking out?
Well, yeah, dude, it's been crazy. I mean, like I was telling you before, I really thought the Oilers were going to go further. And I actually have a friend, Kyle, who's in Canada, who's really, really not happy about the whole Ducks and Oilers outcome at all. But I mean, dude, it's been crazy. The games have been very intense, dude. I'm really glad that the Predators have made it all the way till the end. Because the Preds, man, Nashville is just a hockey town, man. I mean, they always said that hockey's not going to last in the South, blah, blah, blah. But I'm telling you this right now, dude. I've been to 3 Nashville Predator games, and that place is crazy for hockey. I mean, that place is crazy for hockey. Like, I remember the first time I went up there, they were playing the Blackhawks, and there were actually more Blackhawks fans there than Predator fans in the stadium. The whole stadium was almost red, but there were a lot of Predator fans there. But right after that, I actually had a friend from Italy, this girl from Italy, Clarissa. You're awesome if you're listening. But she was actually visiting from Italy. Yeah, she's really cool. She was actually visiting from Italy, and we were going to hang out. So I was going to go pick her up, and I asked her, I was like, have you ever been to, like, an NHL, like, game ever? She was like, no. And I said, oh, man, it's going down. So when I was on my way to pick her up, I called and got tickets for us. And I was like, you ready for a road trip? And we just took off to Nashville. And it was just like a first experience for her. She's never been to a Nashville, like a hockey game, period.
I think I remember you posting about that on Facebook. I saw that all of a sudden you're like, road trip Nashville now, and I was like, that man.
Yeah.
It's like
dude,
if you would have drove past me on the road, I would have just hopped in because I was like, oh, that would have been good.
Dude, it was so rad, man. We went up there and they were playing the Carolina Hurricanes, and it was all Predator fans, man. There were like 5 Hurricane fans there, but it was just Predator Nation was there. It was crazy. And they end up winning the game, and she got like a hockey puck that said like my first hockey game, and she had like a hat.
Oh, nice.
And then she went back to Italy, but it was just really cool, like being there with her and experiencing that with her. And then I went back with some friends, and we watched them play the Blues. And but I mean that place is just Nashville is just hot for hockey, dude. I mean that's a great city, and like what do you call it, like the boardwalk or whatever is like right there outside of Bridgestone Arena, and it's perfect, man. You can go to restaurants, you can hang out and jam out, then you can go to a hockey game, and then you can come back out and eat again, you know. So it's just the perfect place for hockey, you know, Smashville is. And honestly, dude, I really hope the Preds take it. I really do, because you know, the Penguins, the Pens, they won it last year. And, of course, they have so much talent. It's unbelievable, man. I mean, just crazy talent. But I really do hope the Preds pull it off, and I hope they win it all. Because, you know, I really like PK. You know, he's a great player, but he's also a great guy. You know, he's a great guy. I mean, he gives millions of dollars to children's hospitals. And just a phenomenal person. I mean, just a very humble, cool guy. And not only that, but he has a killer slap shot. I mean, his slap shot is unbelievable. And also, you know, I really love Fisher and a lot of the players on the Predators team. So I hope they can pull it off, man. Like, I mean, we'll see what happens tonight. I mean, hopefully they can win this one, and they can go back to Nashville and win more, you know. So I know that city is definitely ready to win a Stanley Cup.
Oh, yeah, they absolutely are. And I've spent a lot of time talking about Nashville in the last couple of weeks, and we actually announced last week that we're trying to coordinate it so that maybe we can catch a Predators game on like a Saturday night and maybe a Titans game on Sunday before we came back. But I let everybody know that at least BoardCheck and maybe Impact Media in general is, you know, Smashville, we're coming your way next year. We were going to come this year. We kind of had some plans fall through, something we had to do otherwise. But, yeah, we're looking at that. We found out the All-Star game is in Tampa next year. We're thinking about making that. And then, you know, so that Hurricane fans don't yell at me again, Raleigh, you're on our list too. We're gonna try to make a few trips next year and just see what happens. But definitely Smashville is helping the South with the whole hockey can't survive in the South. I just point to Nashville and go, these guys are not only making it work, they're one of the top like 8 teams in like all the financial categories and such.
Yeah. I mean, it truly is, man. I mean, it's really cool to see. And I know that when they were playing the Ducks, they said that Nashville was one of the loudest arenas, Bridgestone Arena is. And they were talking about how loud it was, how crazy the fans were. I mean, that fan threw a catfish on the ice during during Game 1, which is crazy. I mean, I know that what was it, the Red Wings? They throw the octopus or something like that.
Right. And then down
like
the Panthers, the Florida Panthers years ago, I think when Van Beesbrook was their goalie, they used to throw rubber rats at the opposing goalie when goals were scored.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's definitely cool. Like, if you're listening right now, if you've never been to an NHL game, definitely go to Nashville to go to one. You'll never forget it. It's a really cool experience. The fans are awesome, and they're passionate about their team. You know, they're definitely passionate, and I think the parking is really good around that arena. The arena's beautiful. It's really nice, and you know, it's in a safe location and everything. You know, so you can cross the bridge, and you know, last time I was up there, I was with some bros up there, and we were actually hanging off the bridge. There's like a photo of me with a Predator shirt, and I was hanging off the bridge. It was really cool. But
I remember that photo.
yeah, dude. I mean, it's just fun, man. Just take a little road trip up there, man. Eat at a few places and go to a game, man. It's just really cool.
And I can't think of a better way to end overtime here. And obviously, as always here on BoardCheck, that means we won the game if it is time to end. And we won in overtime today because we were just stock full, had all kinds of stuff. But, Tory, it's been fantastic having you on. We will definitely have you back on in the near future. And maybe we can coordinate a trip or so, and or maybe we'll see you in Nashville.
Yeah, dude, definitely. That'd be awesome. Thank you for having me on. You know, Jesus loves you guys, and thank you for all that you do, man. I mean, you guys are awesome. You're doing a great job. And just, you know, spreading hockey and spreading life around, man, it's just really cool, you know. Hockey's a great sport, and I love watching it, and I love playing it. And, you know, watching KSU games at the Ice Forum are really fun, you know. We'll get some fights. I remember when KSU played South Carolina, that was the biggest hockey fight I've ever seen in my life. Every single person was fighting. The goalie jumped on two guys and started fighting them. But it's part of the game, man. I mean, just it gets rowdy. And fans love that stuff. They love that stuff. And that place erupted when that happened. So definitely stoked for KSU season coming up in a couple of months. Hopefully they'll be pretty good. I know a lot of the players that are on that team, and they're great guys. So we'll just see how they do, man. But I think they're wanting to get new uniforms right now, which is crazy because they look like the Boston Bruins out there, you know?
Yeah, I know.
So, but yeah, thank you for having me on again, man. I mean, it was really fun. You're doing an awesome job. And, yeah, dude, it's cool.
I definitely appreciate it. And as we always do here on BoardCheck, that's going to do it for us this week. So make sure that you're going to, you know, as always, go watch hockey. It's going to be on in 10 minutes. It's on NBCSN. For Tory Fossett, I'm Jeremy the Impact York. We will see you guys next week on BoardCheck.
Oh, yeah. Woo!